I'm going to use this quad to try and explain why I think quads with such small props and such high weight for that small prop feel kind of wonky in the throttle. But first I'm going to go over this quad real quick. So this is the Diatone something or other. The name is in the description. And it's another Diatone quad. It's pretty nice. It's a small stature. It's got 2-inch props, and it's got an HD camera on board. It has the Turtle, the CADX Turtle thing on board. And so the frame is nice. It's 3mm. It is more sturdy than I expected it to be for a frame that's been cut like this. It does not have an optimal cut on it, but it does feel nice and stiff and sturdy, so I don't really have too many concerns about the frame. The electronic stack in there is great. Diatone does a great job of making really cost-effective electronic stacks that perform really well and are surprisingly reliable for the price that they sell them for. That's why I sell it in my own store, the store that I'm associated with. And all my 5-inch quads that I actually fly myself personally have the Mamba ESC in there, the 20x20 ESC. I really like the ESC a lot. I've had no problems with it, and the performance is really great. So that, their flight controller, and their VTXs, which they have a great habit of using genuine TBS components, which this is a genuine TBS VTX, all fantastic. I have no concerns about that at all. Of course, they're not 100% reliable, like anything. Any components can fail, but they're usually better than most. The camera is not to my taste, the HD camera. If you like it or don't like it, it's totally up to you. It's personal preference. The motor is the Mamba 1105 5500 kV. Mamba motors are really well built. They're built by different manufacturers as far as I know, but they tend to be really powerful, perform really, really well. This particular frame, and the canopy is of course very nice, this particular frame will fit 2.5-inch props on these motors, and I would recommend 2.5-inch props. I'd actually recommend the HQ 2.5 by 2.5 by 3. I think that's perfect. It will not fit 3-inch props. It will just barely run into that screw, and also the back will just barely run into the standoffs. Either way, I wouldn't recommend the 3-inch prop for a motor of this size. It will work. It's up to you if you like that size, but it won't fit 3-inch. So 2.5-inch for this motor size is great. And like I said, the HQ 2.5 by 2.5 by 3 I think is a perfect prop for this quad. So now let's try to explain, or at least let me try to share my opinion, or what I think is why quads like this with 2-inch props or just small props and high weight really don't work out that great with respect to throttle performance. So this quad is 98 grams, like this as you see it. With this 3S 450 milliamp battery, it is 140 grams, which is a lot of weight for 2-inch size props. It does fly, and it's totally fine, and it works, and it is surprisingly powerful for what it is. It really is quick. The problem is that the throttle control is really wonky and really hard to modulate. And so take this with a grain of salt. This is my opinion. This is not fact. I am just guessing here. This is backyard science. I have asked a couple of prop engineers, actual aerospace engineers, for their opinion on this matter. I haven't gotten a response back from them yet. I'll update it if it is different than what I'm going to explain here. But why do quads like this, or quads that are just overweight but still have a lot of power, feel like the throttle is an on-off switch? It feels like you hit that point in the throttle where the thing just takes off on you and goes crazy, and you're just like, oh, I didn't expect that. So I think that what's happening is that you give it more throttle, up to the point where the quad actually starts accelerating. Actually, you try to accelerate faster or quicker, or the quad actually just starts moving. Then the props start biting the air and working more effectively on the air, because they work better when they're moving through air. They don't work as well when they're in a static load environment, when they're just hovering there or something, or if you're just cruising slowly. So what happens is you reach that point where it starts accelerating, and then the props start working better, and then everything starts moving faster, and it kind of takes off on you, and you're not expecting it. And the problem is that when you're coming out of dives or doing any maneuvers, doing anything weird, the quad is unpredictable, because it'll start doing this kind of weird throttle effect at any point in your flying. And so if you want to try to just apply a throttle curve to it, it becomes really difficult, because it's an unpredictable point in the throttle where it starts giving you problems. So keeping your weight down, the prop size up, kind of ties everything together and makes the throttle more accurate in general. It just makes everything work more to your conceptual understanding and your fingers, and just what you think that the quad will do will actually be what the quad does with respect to how much throttle you give it. And that's why having a lower load or just an improved disc loading ratio just feels better to fly. I hope that sounded about right. I don't know. Let me know what you think and why you think that quads that are overweight for the prop size yet still have a lot of power and are very quick tend to feel like their throttle feels like an on-off switch. Anyways, floss your teeth. Take care. Bye-bye.